Welcome to Amarev HD, live at 10:25. I'm your host, John Smith. Today's featured story is the Napoleonic Wars and Thomas Jefferson's Embargo Act. Now we will go live to the field with James for our featured story.
Oh, that calls.
We are live from the battlefield of the French and the British, where things are escalating quickly. In result of this fighting, our economy has been able to flourish because of an increase in foreign trade. Just recently, both the French and the British want us to join sides with them. As a result of these two foreign powers wanting us to choose a side, President Jefferson, staying true to his word and pursuing the policy of staying neutral, has led these two powers to mistake our ships as for one another's, raiding our ships, stealing our products, and impressing our sailors to become part of their navies. These actions of foreign powers have led Jefferson to implement the Embargo Acts. Well, things have escalated quicker than I thought. Back to you, John. We need a medic!
Thank you, James, for that report. So, recently, the Embargo Act was implemented by President Thomas Jefferson. This act forbids American ships from docking in foreign ports in hopes of making France and Britain recognize our neutrality. Recently, American ships have been captured and raided by French troops due to confusion, thinking our ships were British ships. Also, British soldiers captured American ships and impressed our soldiers because they do not want to recognize our neutral standing and want us to take a side with either Britain or France. The Embargo Act is a complete failure. As a result, our economy has had a downfall, Britain has opened up new markets in South America, and American sailors as well as merchants have become angered. And now, we take it to Ben with our news report on the economy and a live interview with an American sailor.
To explain the effects of the Embargo Act enacted by Thomas Jefferson, we can have a look at the revenue of U.S. exports, where there is a large difference between 1807 and 1808 when the act was implicated. In 1807, our export revenue was at a record $108 billion US and growing, and suddenly dipped with the act in place where in little under a year, our revenues dropped to just $22 million US. The act forced many sailors to move all their shipments to Canada and to the West Indies, as exporting goods to France and Britain were now deemed illegal. Some ships also took it upon themselves to leave port illegally. Many are outraged by the outcomes of these acts, as neither France nor Britain have been deeply affected by the act as originally intended. After a quick commercial break, we have an exclusive interview with an American sailor who has been deeply affected by the act.
Hello, my name is Thomas Jefferson. A few days ago, the Embargo Acts went into effect. This brilliant plan of mine was designed to convince France and Britain of our neutrality. It will also bring in the big bucks, as it will make them realize their dependence on our exports. Ignore all of that terrible banter that this act is ruining our economy. As I said before, it is only expanding and growing. Recognize the significance and fight the lies. I am Thomas Jefferson, and I approve this message.
Here we have George, a sailor who has been deeply affected by the Embargo Acts. Welcome, George.
It's a pleasure to be here.
George, what are your opinions towards this act, which has clearly devastated our economy?
My opinions are that in the near future there would be conflicts between foreign lands such as British and French, because then we're not having the economic ties that we have right now.
How has this affected your livelihood?
This has affected my livelihood, not only me, but also my fellow sailors, because we cannot raise money or get money to raise our family.
Do you see any positive outcomes coming out of this in the near future?
No, I don't see no positive outcomes, not any.
How do you think you will ever get your business back together?
Well, right now, me and my fellow sailors are illegally smuggling and exports from foreign lands, and that's the only thing that's holding up our families.
Thank you, George. Here we had an exclusive interview. Back to you, John.
Thank you, Ben, for that riveting interview. That just about does it for today's show. Tune in tomorrow for our story about continuing westward expansion and the full-length motion picture, Fathers of the Revolution. I'm John Smith, your host, and thank you for tuning in to Amarev HD Daily News.